Good morning. Buenas, buenas. Okay. It's getting started here. We'll wait for some people to come in. This is not the normal time. We were supposed to do this Wednesday, but it was the day before Thanksgiving. And I decided to change it to today, so my apologies. We will wait for some people to come in, but while we're waiting, I had a nice Thanksgiving here in Panama City with some friends. And one of the dishes that I liked the best was the dessert. My friend made this like peach cobbler cheesecake. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I wish I like brought home more than one piece. I messed up. But it was really, really good. So while we're waiting for people to come in, let me know in the comments what your favorite dish was from Thanksgiving. And then we will get started shortly. Some people are coming in. Buenas, buenas. Hola, welcome. Let me know in the, oh, there's a typo. Let me know in the comments. I need to change that. Let me change that now. I don't know how to change it live. Let's see. Let's see, save. All right, there we go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started because I have a hard stop today. So we're going to welcome all to our abroadability, I can't even say it, abroadability team. That's what we're going to call each other now. And today we're covering, it's more than 10, but 10 things that you may not like about Panama, or you shouldn't move to Panama if you can't deal with these things. So we're going to ask you to put a Q in the comments. Oops, some comments are coming in. If you have a question, it makes it easier for me to find them. Hello, Robert. You're here. Hello. Where's that smile? I'm tired. It's coming. I have to wake up. Good morning, Sabrina Williams. So we're just going to go ahead and get started here. So hello, my name is Aisha. Aisha, not Aisha. And I am the founder of Abroadability. This channel is about expat life in Panama, me traveling the world with cerebral palsy, all things Panama, traveling with a disability, and expat life. So once again, if you have a question, put a Q in the comments. Good morning, Brady. So we're just going to get into it. So one of the things that you may not like if you move to Panama are the protests. Panama has a huge protest culture. And when I first moved here, I remember like seeing the protests, looking down from my balcony. And at first I was like, wow, like this is really impressive, like power to the people. And it was just completely different. It didn't feel like the protests that we would protesting in the US. It felt more like a demonstration. But the more and more I lived here, the more I could see how disruptive it could be for people. They could block off highways. And if you're not aware that the protest is happening, you could be stuck for hours. But it's the way that they get change in the country. So some people love it, some people can't stand it. And a lot of the things that we're going to go through today are, it depends on your tastes. Some people are really like, yes, the protest, they've never seen anything like it. They've never seen a country come together and have something change. So it can be really, really, really powerful. But for other people, they cannot stand it. It's too disruptive. It affects their business. It affects their daily life. The last major protest that they had here, I just got food, drinks, whatever I needed. And I just hunkered down in my apartment because I live on Avenida Balboa, and that was one of the main areas in the city where they held a lot of protests. Greetings, David. Back in Panama next Thursday. Nice. So that was one of the things. But I also want to say, before I really get into these, I love Panama. I love living in Panama. Like, it is my home. It's a blessing to be here. So I don't want people to think this video is about harping on the negative things here, but these are really just things that you have to be aware of. And it's a lot of things that expats don't like. So the next one is the noise. And this is me. This one I don't like. As festive as Panamanians can be, and as festive as it is to live here, you have a bunch of fireworks, you have buses going by, like party buses going by if you live on Avenida Balboa. And the bass is just like boom, boom, boom. Fireworks could go off at 8 in the morning, 3 in the morning. A parade could happen at 1 in the morning. You just don't know. So I sleep with earplugs. But if you're a light sleeper, you have an important meeting that day, you're in a meeting, it can disrupt some things for you. So some things that you just have to be aware of. But a lot of people do complain about the noise. On the other side of that, some people love how festive it is. They love the sense of partying, they love celebrations, but you have to be aware that in certain parts of the country, it can be extremely noisy. Let me see, some comments are coming in. Louisiana is 28 degrees. Oh my gosh. I don't miss that. Sorry, I'm sorry for you. Tracy, that's horrible. That's horrible. All right, so it can be extremely noisy. With that, there are times where you just have complete peace and tranquility, and it's just beautiful, but it can be very noisy. The third thing can be waiting for repairs. You really have to pack your patience. You really have to pack your patience. They might say, we're coming tomorrow, and you will adjust your whole schedule and you'll wait all day and they don't show up. And they don't even message you saying they're not coming. So your whole day, you're stuck in your apartment or your house just waiting and waiting. Or some might come and they're like, oh, we don't have the right tool, or oh, we don't have the right equipment for this. But you knew what the problem was. So again, you have to pack your patience, but waiting for repairs like utility, internet, it can take more than a day. It can take several trips, and you have to be aware that your schedule is going to be altered by it. Don't think it's going to happen like it does in the US or wherever you're from. They say they're coming in this window. The majority of the time, that window is like within the week. You can find some phenomenal people that can, like maintenance people, handyman, that are on time. They're very responsive. But for the most part, you have to pack your patience because you're going to be waiting. All right, let me see this comment in here. Good morning, Grace. David, do you know of hotels that are soundproof or have quiet rooms? I do not. I don't know how noisy it is in hotels. Strange question. I can't. The only hotel I've stayed in here, I think, was a Sortis, and I don't remember having any issues with the noise. They typically have double-paned glass windows, but when I came, it wasn't like around a holiday or there wasn't just random fireworks going off, so I don't know. But I will say, for those who are apartment hunting, I do like I will knock on every wall to see how thick it is or if it's drywall. And I will look to see if the bedroom has an adjoining wall, like on the other side, or if my bed is going to be on a wall in the hallway. So I just pay attention for things like that. But yeah, sorry, I can't answer that. I don't know. Good morning. Let's see, noise, waiting for repairs. Okay, shopping. So one thing I had to get used to living here was going shopping and grocery shopping. Like I do miss this from the US. I miss going to one grocery store or one shopping center and being able to get everything I need right there. Here, I could go to a grocery store. It had an item yesterday. It's gone. It's not there today. They don't have any in stock, and I don't know when it's going to be refilled. So for me, I don't like shopping. So it's very annoying having to go to like 2, 3, or 4 stores to get everything I need. I typically like to go shopping once a week, and that's it. But here it's like it's an effort to go to like all these different places. So some of us end up like, if there's something you like, we end up hoarding. It's not good, but because you don't know when they're going to have it in stock again. And this is especially for like my cat food and cat litter. So they're kind of item specific, but I definitely am going to different grocery stores or markets to get everything that I need. The next one is the rainy season. And again, this depends on your taste. A lot of us love the rainy season. I love watching like the clouds roll in. It's so dramatic. It's so beautiful. Every day it's like the sky is painting a different picture. On the other side, like you're planning around the rain. Like I will do most of my errands in the morning. It can rain in the morning, but I will do most of my errands in the morning just because you know the showers are coming. It typically doesn't rain all day, but a lot of people just do not like the rainy season. And I'm specifically talking about Panama City. The rainy season, and for example, Boquete is extremely different. They tend to get a lot more rain. So it depends on where you live, but a lot of people have issue with the rainy season. What is it called? Someone let me know. Let me go to the comments. What is it called when like people get depressed in the winter? It might have that effect on some people here. I can see that. I don't remember what that term is. Can someone put it in the comment? Do you know what I'm talking about? When it's like a seasonal depression where people get depressed in the winter because it's cold, it's darker, and they're inside. All right, Rio. Okay, so someone said the Rio was quiet during their stay. Going back to the groceries, yes, grocery services are available. I have not used them. I tend to like to pick out my own groceries. I had a friend that was trying to order something the other day for Thanksgiving, and what does she want? Whatever she ordered, they brought spinach instead. It wasn't exactly what she ordered, but people use delivery services here all the time. A lot of the major grocery chains here have it. And even if the store that you want to get something from doesn't have it, there are a lot of people or personal drivers that you can just give them the list of things that you want. They'll go shopping for you and then deliver it to you. Thank you. Cabin fever, essay. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. See, I told you, Robert, I'm tired. It wasn't coming. Oh, this just came in. Hello, this is a new channel member. Thank you. So for those of you that don't know, I have a channel membership, and that's where you pay a certain, I have 3 different levels. You pay a certain amount monthly and you get access to my life behind the scenes of as an expat. I don't remember how many videos I have, but it's footage that I don't show on the normal channel. So I might take you in depth with me to a doctor's visit, getting my hair done, going grocery shopping. I'm going to start creating more footage where I'm taking you with me, maybe to like a shooting range or archery here, just showing you different aspects of living here that I'm not showing on the main channel. So welcome. All right, shopping rainy season infrastructure. So the infrastructure here, and I'm doing this from the lens as a civil engineer, former civil engineer, and a former utility director. So I managed wastewater treatment for the city of Houston for how many years? I don't remember. So the infrastructure here, while I think it is good for Latin America or Central America, it can bother some people. So they might cut off the water from like 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. or 9 p.m. to 3 p.m., right? Saturday to Sunday. That would not go over well in the US at all. I would have been fired. But here they may not have the same redundancies in the infrastructure that you may be used to back home. So it is what it is. If they need to do a major repair, the water might be cut off. If you're in a building, a high rise, some of them have water tanks, so you don't feel the disruption. Some houses or buildings may not. So when you're looking, it's a good thing to ask if they have generators, if they have water tanks. Another thing that's been happening lately, which did not happen the first year that I lived here, is my internet service has been like going out for long periods of time. The last time it was it felt like a day. I don't remember how long. It felt like a day. But if you have a meeting, if you're working on something, if you're trying to upload a YouTube video, it can be annoying. So it's just things that you're not used to, and it can bother some people. There are other infrastructure. So I mentioned the electricity outages, the potholes. You have to be a skilled driver here. You just have to be a skilled driver here. The potholes are insane. They are worse than where I lived in Houston, especially if you're going off-road. Like if you're going off a major highway onto a dirt road maybe, or a road that may not be maintained as often, it can be horrible, and it's going to add to your journey to wherever you're going to. It's going to add to the time it takes you to get there. So that is something you have to be aware of. The potholes here are horrible. All right, let me see. More comments are coming in. Rainy season. Is rainy season over? If it's not over, we're at the tail end of it. I did see a news article where they said it might extend further into December, but like right now it's beautiful, sunny. Did it rain? I don't even remember if it rained yesterday. But we're on the tail end of the rainy season. It kind of ends around, I feel like, when the hurricane season ends. Good morning. All right, so where were we? Infrastructure. The wealth inequity here is really, really in your face. And it's not as, I don't want to say hidden as it is in the US. Like, for example, the most popular and touristy neighborhood is Casco Viejo. They have beautiful architecture, kind of like the old style, what is it? The old infrastructure, colonial infrastructure. It's just gorgeous, and they're revitalizing, they're gentrifying the neighborhood. It's one of my favorite neighborhoods just to look at. Right next to it, you will find rundown, dilapidated homes where it looks like what you might see in Cuba. There are other parts of Panama, like in Colón and other areas, where it just looks like Cuba. And it's hard to see when you know how much money comes into this country from the canal. It's troubling, but a lot of people, I've had friends come, I've had people come that were looking to scope out Panama, and they're like, they just couldn't deal with seeing that inequity in their face every day. And I think it depends on where you live and where you're going, but some people really struggle with it. I struggle with it. It doesn't make any sense to me why you have communities that look the way that they do when you have all of this money coming in from the canal. Let's see, wealth inequity. Okay, so not ADA friendly. So it's not going to be ADA friendly because we're not in America. But it is not friendly for the disabled at all. And For those of you that are not disabled, you really do need to think about this, because as you age, your mobility might decline. So if you have stairs that are not of an equal distance apart, it's not easy to go up and down. They don't all have railings. You know, the sidewalks may not all be paved nicely, if there's a sidewalk at all. It is not, that's my cat. Sorry. It's just not easy to navigate if you have a mobility constraint, or if you, I think if you're aging, and if you're aging with difficulty. 9 are the critters. Now, I didn't know I had a fear of moths until I moved here. I didn't know I had a fear of moths. So there are these like pterodactyls. They're like this big. Okay, they're not like that big, but they're huge. And they just somehow, like every now and then, just end up in my apartment. And I don't handle these large flying things well. One of my cats that passed away, oh, he was like, it's playtime. And he would chase these big things around. He'd catch them. He'd run around in his mouth and bring it to me like it was a prize. And I'm like, it's not dead. And it's like flapping in his mouth. It's horrible. But there are some critters here that you just would not expect. I went to a location a couple weeks ago. I'm working on that video for you guys, and I'm not saying where I went. But I saw this thing, and I was like, what is that? Like, I'd never seen it before. It was scary looking. I'm just, you know, it's a rainforest. You have jungle and rainforest all around you. So you're going to encounter things you've never seen. Is it every day? No. But some people have issues with geckos. Some people have issues with moths, spiders. There are no-see-ums. They're like little mosquitoes. You don't see them. And next thing you know, you just have all these bites. It's kind of like sandflies. It happened to me once at a beach in Cologne. It happened a couple weeks ago. You just don't see them, but you feel them. Hold on, there's some comments coming in. Is it easy to find home aid assistants and or cooks? Yes, it's very easy to find cooks. One of my friends has one here. They have a lot of chefs that will meal prep for you. Home aid, yes, you can find nurses to come help. You can find people that will come in and stay with you. They can come in a certain amount of hours. You have to navigate that. But yes, you can definitely find that here. There are a lot more questions that people are starting to ask about, like assisted living or aging in place here. They have a few facilities. I'm not aware of the level of care that they give or how nice they are. But they do have some here, and I know there's a concerted effort to bring more of that here, but they do have home care assistants. Let's see, critters. Were there any other critters I forgot? Nope. All right. So the language. Although a lot of people say you don't need Spanish here, I think the language barrier, if you don't have a lot of American friends, can be an issue, and it can be isolating. I'm probably going to do another video on this, but okay. So when you move here, you're not a tourist, and you're not going to a hotel. You're not at a resort. They don't need to cater to you. You're moving to their country, and they speak Spanish here. You're lucky if people speak English. Do not assume that people speak English, and don't treat it like it's a right. Don't get upset if someone can't speak English. If that's something that's going to bother you, I don't think Panama is the place for you. Can you navigate without speaking English? Absolutely. Google Translate. People are very patient. They will try. You can find a lot of people who want to practice their English. But if you really can't get over the fact that English is not the primary language, you might struggle here. Are there any non-pet friendly condos? Not that I'm aware of. What you might encounter is okay, let me take this a step back for a second. The apartments and condos here are not managed the same way that they are in the US. So it's typically not one management company. They might have like a condo association, but each apartment is managed by the owner. So while the building may be pet friendly, the owner of an apartment may not be. So I had a hard time when I moved from the first building finding another owner that would allow 2 cats. They might have allowed dogs, but in their head, the cats were going to scratch up all of the furniture. So it took me a while to find someone. But no, Panama is very, very, very pet friendly. It just depends on the owner of the apartment. But a lot of people have pets. The building I'm in, every building, a lot of people have pets. I have not. And the irony is I would not be scared of a tarantula. I was scared of the moth. It's ridiculous. So no, I haven't seen any. Is it difficult to find Spanish classes? No, they have a lot. You'll see them offered all the time. You can find them on Instagram, in expat groups, on Facebook. They have classes. I know they have a group in, I think it's Costco, where it's a class. They'll even take you around to get you acclimated and have different exercises outside of the classroom, which I think is really cool. Let's see. Okay, police checkpoints. When I first, no, it wasn't the first time I came. It wasn't the second time. So when I came for my relocation scouting trip, it was like during the midst of COVID, and they had all of these police checkpoints. And I was like, what is going on? Like, no one really talked about them in all of the YouTube videos I was looking at. It can be very intimidating, like driving to a checkpoint and you see these armed policemen. And they're making you roll down the window and you're like, what's happening? But they're not really looking for you. They're checking, and it can be different type of like police. It could be normal police. It could be, depending where you are, like if you're going to San Blas, it might be more drug related. It could be tourism. You don't know. So they might be checking for your passport, checking to see if you have any like outstanding tickets, things like that. It's nothing to be scared of, but it's very jarring and scaring when you first encounter it. And when they do it, the traffic can be backed up forever. So it's just something to get used to. But I definitely was taken aback by it when I first moved here. Is it worth shipping a car? People tend to sell their cars for the most part and buy one here. I don't have a car. I've heard that some of the parts are harder to get here. They might use different parts in Panama than they do in the US. So you might like have a Honda Civic, but if it was made for the US, the same parts may not be here. But I would ask that in an expat group, since I don't have a car, but a lot of people buy cars here. Also, if you're shipping a car, I think the port determines how much your car is worth. Not what you think it's worth, not what Kelley Blue Book says it's worth. They determine what it's worth and will tax you accordingly. So that's another thing to factor in. Let me know if that answered your question, Bruce. Good morning. Are you typically responsible for your own repairs when renting? It depends on what it is, and it depends on what's in your contract. So for my apartment, well, the 2 apartments I've had, there was only one thing I had to repair. Anything with like the appliances, anything electrical, structural, as long as I didn't break it, they will handle it. It's no problem. There was one time a gust of wind came in and slammed my bedroom door and it cracked the frame. They blamed me. So I just paid for that repair. but everything else they have covered with no problem or any pushback. Is there anything that they? Yeah, so it depends on your landlord. Typically what people do when first moving in is they'll take a picture or video of everything, and you have a time frame to say what's working and what's not, and they'll fix it immediately. And as time goes on, it's expected that things are going to break down. But for the most, if you have a good landlord, they will pay for it. Are the police more chill in Panama? I think so. I'll say good morning. I'll wave. They'll smile. It's not the same feel as you would have in the police with the police in certain parts of the U.S. I can't speak for all of the U.S., but it just doesn't have the same feeling. I'll give an example. I went home. I went back to Houston. I think it was October, and I was driving, and I saw police in the rear view mirror, and I instantly tensed up. The only time I've ever tensed up here for the police to that extent was when I was going to San Blas, and they had a checkpoint, and they looked like SWAT. Like all I could see were their eyes. It was just, and that was the only other time I tensed up. But they're not really intimidating. They're really here to help. Yes, they're here to enforce the law, but it's not in a militant way, if that makes sense. And I grew up around police when I was a child. My uncles were New York City detectives and policemen. So I grew up after school in like the police station. So for me to say that they're more chill here, they really, really are. Be Well Magazine, any feedback about accessibility to stores, hospitals, coffee shops in the San Francisco area? I haven't been there in a while. I need to go there. I think most of the stores and hospitals are accessible. They have ramps. They have handicap parking. The aisles are wide enough. Coffee shops, I'll have to get back to you on that one. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I would say some of the restaurants here may not be accessible. Like if you're in a wheelchair, are you in a wheelchair or do you just have trouble navigating? So if you're in a wheelchair, I've seen people that work in the restaurants or coffee shops, like maybe lift you up in the wheelchair up a couple of stairs. So people are very helpful here. It's not like you're just going to be stranded, right? But it might require a bit more assistance from strangers or people that work at those places than you might be used to. Okay. Trash. This is hard. This is really hard. Especially like as an environmentalist. Panama is a gorgeous country. Like it has all these different landscapes. It has these rainforests. It's just lush. All the different, like the water. And there are certain areas you're just walking or driving, and you just see piles and piles of trash, like on the corner, just mounds of trash. There's a waterway when driving from the airport to the city or back from the city to the airport. It's around Costa del Este. I think the way the tide comes into that area, there's just a bunch of trash floating in the water, just floating in the water. And it's just it's so hard to look at. It's so ugly. And I can't say it takes getting used to because I haven't gotten used to it, but it really is a major problem here. And I'm not sure why. That's something I want to look more into. I don't know who pays. So there's some neighborhoods or buildings that might have private trash collection. So theirs is always taken. I don't like seeing that people say Panamanians don't know how to handle trash or they're dirty. If you really take a step back, it's not that there's trash on every street or all over the street. It's in one area. And if the trash collection isn't picking it up, it's just going to build up in that one area on the street. As for like the trash in the waterways, I can't tell. I can't tell if it's coming. Someone's at my door. Who is it? I'll be right back. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know who's at my door. 1 second. Sorry. Who is it? Sorry, guys, I'm coming. Just had to make sure that wasn't an emergency. Okay. So what was I saying? The trash. So I wasn't sure like where the trash is coming from, if it's coming from upstream, if it's coming from the ocean and the tides bringing it in. That's something that I want to look into. So we'll see. Let's see. What are you in, and are the business accessibly there? What am I in? Could you be more specific with what am I in? Like, do I use a wheelchair? So I don't use a wheelchair. I don't use a walker. I don't use crutches. I navigate without any assistance. Are the businesses accessible? I think that's building specific. That's going to be building specific. Some do have ramps, some don't. Some have stairs, some don't. That'll be building specific. All right, now I'm just looking for walkable. Yeah, so you don't have to drive in. I don't own a car. San Francisco is very walkable from what I've heard. I'm gonna head over there in the next few weeks and get that for you. El Cangrejo is walkable. El Barrio, I think, is walkable. Costa del Este is walkable. So there are definitely walkable parts of Panama City. I think as you get further out of the country and away from the city, it may not be as walkable, but you can definitely find walkable neighborhoods here. And then it's also, it could be like block specific. So like the block I'm on, not walkable. Next to it, across the street, it might be more walkable. All right. Brady, that's the next one. Are you ready? Driving. You read my mind, Brady. So I'll go back to your comment. Where'd it go? Uh-oh, I lost your comment. Okay, so anyway, driving. I can't drive here. My heart and my nerves are not set up for driving here, especially Panama City. Panama City, I might brave driving in another area. I might be able to handle the highway. I cannot do the city. I grew up in Manhattan. I can drive in Manhattan. I will not drive here. I can drive in DC. I can drive in Houston. I can drive in any major city in the USA. I will not drive here. Can't do it. I can't even be a passenger, guys. I can't even look out the window when people are driving. I just can't. The rules here are just different. It's like you fit in where you can get in. The other day I was just watching something. Someone, a cab pulled over to let someone out. Someone didn't want to wait, so they went like on the other side of the cab and turned in front of them. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. You know, when you drive and you have to have like your eyes on the front, the side, and the back. Here, it needs to be a swivel. It needs to be a constant swivel. I have friends here who drive and they're fine. Some of my friends here love it. They think it's fun and it's like an adventure. My nerves. Here we go. There it was. Nope, I can't do it. Now I do have my driver's license, and they have an option for you to take. You can get your driver's license without driving if you get it authenticated, like your U.S. driver's license. And there were steps to do that, and I have a video for that. But I really only got it for emergencies and or driving in other areas of Panama outside of the city. The awkward Black nomad. Hello, I'm looking to stay in Panama for 3 months. Is there a way to find an affordable, shorter term rentals? Okay. I would ask that in expat groups. I don't know what your affordable is, so it's hard for me to answer that. They do have Airbnbs here. You might be able to find short-term rentals maybe in some places like the JW. Maybe some hotels might have short-term rentals, but they definitely have some areas that have Airbnbs. I love watching your videos. You're so inspiring. Oh, thank you. That warms my heart. Thank you. So I don't have any Airbnbs to recommend. Some like the U has a lot of Airbnbs. What other buildings have Airbnbs? I think the Destiny has Airbnb. It depends what you're looking for. Like you can have some Airbnbs that are on the water on Avenida Balboa, where you have the Cinto Costero across the street, where people walk and exercise. I think it depends what you're looking for. But they have Airbnbs in Casco Viejo, where it's, the more touristy areas. You'll find more restaurants and stores, bars, things to do. It depends what you're looking for. I heard about the driving craziness in Panama City and Mexico. Yeah, Mexico City. I don't remember. I went to Mexico. I was like 13 years old when I went to Mexico City, so I don't remember. But yeah, my heart, I can't do it. I can't do it. Well, since, I didn't know that. Okay. Richard Jesse War, seriously considering Volcan after much research thoughts. Have I been to Volcan? I don't think I've been there, but I heard it's really, really nice. I heard it's gorgeous. I have not been there. I will say this. I am not going to say an area, don't go to a certain. There might be some areas where I say, I don't know if you'd want to live there, but for the most part, major areas like Volcan, Boquete, Coronado, El Valle, Gorgona, the city, Playa Banal, Pedasí, all those places, they're all fine. It just really depends on your taste, your budget, and what you're looking for. Like, it's no worries. What I meant to, was there an area? Okay. I have to think about the fondas. So my favorite fonda, no, it's not accessible for wheelchairs. There are 2 steps to get up, and it's a really, really narrow walkway. There are other fondas that might be lined up on the street where, yeah, it would be accessible. I think it's fonda specific, kind of like it's building specific. It's going to be fonda specific. And again, the restaurants and shops is going to be specific to those establishments. By bus. No, I have not. There are people that have gone to Costa Rica. I had a friend that went to Nicaragua, but I haven't. Happy Saturday. Oh, what time is it? Oh, I have a hard stop. Okay. Trash driving. Oh, we're actually at the end. We did it. I had a hard stop at 10 and we're early. Do you guys have any other questions for me? We have like 15 more minutes that I can give you. For those of you that are new, I'm still working on my website, but you can go to theabroadability.com. I'm hoping to get my consultation thing set up where you can hire me for an hour and we can answer questions. We can talk about living here, your concerns, things of that nature, or traveling with a disability, other countries that I've been to. We can just chat it up. I can give you advice and my input. Let's see this. With all the new foreigners moving to Panama, is there any pushback, anger from the locals for expats driving up the rental prices? Thanks. So this is an interesting thing. I would say, so you've seen a lot of issues like in Mexico City in the past, or currently like in Spain, where they're like, no foreigners, no tourists, or Portugal. I find it funny that the foreigners get blamed for driving up the prices when it's actually the owners of the units who are driving up the prices, right? Yes, we'll come in and pay an amount because it's cheaper than where we're from. But if they weren't trying to haggle up or price it up much higher, it wouldn't be an issue, right? Those are my 2 cents. I have not felt any pushback or anger from anyone here. To me, Panama is like the hub of like Central and South America. So you have people from all over the world living here. You can almost find almost every nationality here. So I think right now it's a wave maybe of Americans coming in. In the past, there might have been a wave of South Africans. Before that, it might have been a wave of something else. There's a huge Chinese population here. They've been here for hundreds and hundreds of years. So it's just a multinational place. And I just think right now, people from the US are flooding. So I haven't had any issue. Panama to me is extremely, extremely welcoming. And the Panamanians are extremely friendly and warm. And I think that's one of the reasons why so many of us love it here. You just feel like you fit in, but I have not felt any hostilities whatsoever. What has your experience been building community with mostly expats or locals? So I think when I first moved here, I only was hanging out with expats because it was easier. It was like you had the FOMO, the fear of missing out. They had a bunch of expat events. You would go to them. You know, it was like I was a tourist. I didn't want to miss any of them. And with me going to all of those events, I would pick and choose the people that I liked or thought I would like, and then kind of build my community from that. I think it depends on how intentional you are about building your own community. The community is here. You can find almost any community you want here. There are people who are in their yoga communities. They're in their healing communities. They're in their spiritual communities. Mountain biking, hiking, walking, surfing. Like you can find different communities for what you're looking for. They have like religious communities. But in general, like a community, it depends on how intentional you are. You can be very isolated here, or you can be in the middle of everything. It just depends on you. Does that help? Gun laws. I have not been following the gun laws here. You are allowed, I believe, to have guns. It might be harder, and I don't know what the steps are for it. They have shooting ranges here. I've been to one of them. But yeah, I'm not sure. It's not the same here. And you definitely don't see open carry. I haven't seen anyone with a gun. The only time I've seen anyone with a gun is the police or in the shooting range. Lauren, I'm glad I managed to catch you live. LOL. Tee. You are very considering ebook. Huh. I have considered doing a couple of ebooks. I just haven't had the time. It's hard for me to even get out these videos, y'all. It's so time consuming, like thinking about the topic, what I want to cover, writing the script, getting the footage, editing. Y'all, like I was a wastewater engineer. I had to learn how to edit videos during COVID, and I'm using like iMovie, which is embarrassing because people are using more professional editing softwares and I haven't learned them yet. But I'm starting to work on digital products. So yes, Lauren, they're coming in the late future. It can't be the near future, but they are coming. But thank you. When using your cell phone, do you use an eSIM or does your cell phone service in Panama? Okay, so I have 2 cell phones. This is my US cell phone and this is a Panama cell phone. They both allow for an eSIM. My US cell phone, when I went, so when I have to do a video on the mistakes I made. This was a mistake I made. My US cell phone, I changed my provider when I went back in October. So I was here for 2 years with a different provider, paying an astronomical amount. I'm not going to say the provider. I really want to, but okay. So I switched, and the one that I'm using now gives me like unlimited talk text data in all of Latin America. So I just leave it on. My Panamanian phone only works for Panama. I don't think it works for another Latin American country, but it's only like $25 a month. But people have dual SIMs, the eSIMs, SIM away. Reasonable price. Okay, what's the reasonable price for you? So right now I have AT&T on my US phone, and I think I pay $80 or $85 a month, and that gives me everything in the US and all of Latin America. I don't know if that's reasonable for you or not. And my Panama cell phone, I think, is $25 a month. Let me go back to this. Oop. So people will port their numbers. They'll use Google Voice, Magic Jack. There are several ways that people can bring the price down. So you can look into that. Just curious, have you connected with your family in Panama if you still have family there? Oh, so I actually don't know if I have family here. And it's really annoying. My grandmother and her twin sister, well, they left at different ages, but I think my grandmother left when she was 16. And my great-grandfather was from Jamaica and my great-grandmother was from Costa Rica, but they met here. And I think I'm the first family member that I know of to ever come back. So I have no idea if I have family here. And DNA testing is not that common here. I think part of it is because you have to be able to mail your test back to the US, and the mail system here is hard to ship things out. You can, but like a DNA test, no. So there's someone I know that's trying to focus on DNA testing in Cologne, and every time they come, they'll bring DNA testing and give it out to people in Cologne that want to know. So hopefully that'll branch out the data here, but I have no idea if I have family members here. I was able to get my grandmother's birth record, and had her cedula on it, but it had a last name that none of us are aware of. Like it had her first name and like the last name we were aware of, and then another name. We were like, who's this? So I don't know if she was married. I don't know what it is. So I have to figure all of that out. And it's hard because she was born in 1911. Okay. In Panama, they use the US dollar. What ATM do? Yes, so they use the US dollar, and these ATMs are set up to take all of your money. What do they charge now? So certain ATMs will charge you over $6 for a transaction. And they limit you to only being able to take out $250 at a time. So if you need like $1,000, that's 20-something dollars in ATM fees alone. On this side, your other bank might be charging you as well. So I'll use a card like Charles Schwab. I don't know if Fidelity still does it, but there are certain cards that will reimburse you the ATM fees at the end of the month. There are certain banks that have cheaper ATM fees, and also that might, not banks, but ATMs that have cheaper fees and also might allow you to take out a bit more. But because I get reimbursed at the end of the month, I'll just go to whichever one. Thank you. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. Like they don't have any record of my grandmother's twin. She doesn't exist in Panama. I'm like, but they're twins. They don't have anything. And that's a problem for people that want to try and get their citizenship here. Like my cousins who are from the twin side, there's no proof that she's Panamanian. It's sad. All right. 6 minutes guide. Do you use Facebook Messenger, FaceTime, or Google Duo to keep up your family if you're in states? Yes. So what do we use? So FaceTime, regular chat. What is this one called? Marco Polo. Yeah, we keep up that way. It all depends. I I might even start doing some Zoom calls or some sort of chats with some of my old coworkers, like once a month just to catch up. But yeah, you definitely can use those free things. Okay, is there anything else? Okay. Thank you guys for joining. If you have any other questions, put them in the chat once we're done, and I'll try to answer them. Oh, hold on, Brady. Ooh, they have a jazz fest. Hold on, let me see. When is the jazz fest? After this ends, can you post this question again? So the annoying thing is with all of these questions, once the live ends, I can't see the questions or comments. So Brady, when we're done, can you post this again and I can give you the jazz information? If you are not going to be here for the Jazz Fest, I can definitely see if I can recommend some clubs for you, okay? All right. Oh, there's another one. You like the weekend lives? So okay. I'm glad you said that. See, y'all are going to keep me here past 10. But I wanted to do like Wednesdays, like Wednesday evening, but I felt like by the end of the day, I didn't feel like talking. So I was like, maybe I can get it done like early in the morning. So let me know if the comments, if you prefer the like Saturday morning at 9. That way I'm like kind of awake, kind of. I'll try to wake up earlier so my brain's like awake and I can think of words. If this is a good time, and then I'll try to switch it up to these times. But thank you, Lauren. I think I like this time as well. Moving there next month. You don't even know where to start. Are you a planner? You're not a planner. Okay, so you're moving here. Have you been here before? Scout, you're just moving here next month. I would start to look at neighborhoods, the area of Panama you want to live in, get an immigration attorney. Oh, there was a question before about an immigration attorney. I would go back to the previous live on the 5 steps, and I listed a bunch of immigration attorneys in there. Thank you, Aisha. Thank you. Thank you. No military background. Okay. What is that for? Yeah, you need to find an immigration attorney. You need to identify what area you want to live in, how you're going to survive here. That's very important. Do you have a pension, Social Security? Does your job, if you're working, do they allow you to work remotely? Do you have are you a digital nomad? All of these things need to be figured out before you move. Please, please, please. A lot of people move here and end up moving back because it was more expensive than they thought. So, okay, with that, gracias. Thank you guys so much. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a fabulous weekend. Ciao.